Hello. So I wanted to do a video on this situation while it was still relevant, so I give my take on this as a fan of Stalker. Given the information we know, I feel I should make a disclaimer before I get into it. I am very pro-Ukrainian, very pro-Ukrainian. I believe that Ukraine deserves support in their conflict with Russia, and that they are fully within their right to defend themselves against this invasion, because that's what it is. It's an invasion. There's no other way of saying it. I am also a massive fan of Stalker, if you can't guess from my background gameplay. I love Shadow of Chernobyl, I love Call of Pripyat, I even love Stalker 2, even though it is admittedly mid. And I bring all this up because I worry that my personal biases may bleed into what I have to say. I'll try and stay as unbiased as I can, but you should know my biases before I speak on this. Alright, let's talk about it. So a couple weeks ago, Misery dropped on Steam. I originally looked at it and thought, oh, this is a dev for Stalker Misery coming back to make their own standalone game because, it's named Misery. If you don't know, Stalker Misery is an old total conversion mod that turns Call of Pripyat into a survival game. I was surprised to know, no, in fact, it's a different developer. But from the promo material, it definitely still has those cheeky-breeky vibes. Brutalist commie blocks, gas masks, mutants, and bandits, it's all there, and despite the PS1 style models, it still has a very similar aesthetic to the old Stalker titles. GSC thought so too. They thought it was a bit too similar, and issued a DMCA takedown for the game. Valve, following standard procedure, delisted Misery's store page. You cannot buy it anymore. GSC's reason for the takedown was asset theft. GSC Game World believes that certain assets seen in-game were either reused or copied by the developers. And it kind of made me raise a bit of an eyebrow and wonder if it actually was GSC themselves that issued the takedown. Because people posing as big studios to have games taken off Steam is a very real problem. But no, it is GSC Game World that issued it. And even then, it was still a bit of a surprise to me because GSC isn't really overly protective about their IPs. It's why mods like Anomaly and Anthology are able to exist. I kinda remember, and don't take this as fact, but I roughly remember GSC even issuing a statement in the past that essentially said they don't really care if other people reuse or make copies of their assets. So maybe it was a sign of them changing their policies, but then again, why is Anomaly still on ModDB? Why is Anthology still on ModDB? Anthology especially, since, as far as I know, you can play it without owning the original trilogy, and it allows you to play the campaigns for all three. An argument could be made that it is a market replacement for the trilogy. As much as I hate to say it, GSC would fully be within their right to take Anomaly and Anthology down if they decided to. So, why are they still up and Misery isn't? And this is where I get into my own personal theory as to what's going on. I don't really need to explain what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, but if you've lived under a rock for the past almost 4 years, Ukraine has been at war with Russia. It started off with Russia amassing troops at the border between the two countries to harass Ukraine, and then became a full-on invasion of Ukraine. A lot of people have lost their lives in the conflict, a lot of horrible acts have been perpetrated by both sides in this war. I'm not going to talk much about it, but the long and short of it is that there is a lot of animosity built up between both sides in the war, not just between the soldiers, but regular civilians between the two countries online as well. Another thing worth mentioning is that GSC is a Ukrainian-based developer, and they are very patriotic. A lot of members of the development team either enlisted or were conscripted to fight in the conflict, and some of them didn't make it back home. It's why Stalker 2 ended up seeing delays from its original release date. GSC loves their country, and they rightfully detest Russia for what they've done to it in this conflict. It's why anything related to Russian culture was removed from Stalker 2. Why do you think rubles are now called coupons? So here's my theory. I don't really think that it's about copyright. A lot of Stalker's assets and whatnot are based on things already in the public domain. But there is at least one thing that I know of that was ripped directly from Stalker, and that is the Gateway. You can find this in official artwork for Stalker, and in Stalker 2, you can even find it near Zalicia. They also claimed one of the songs from Misery was ripped directly from Stalker, but from what I know, it's a folk song of some kind. Every other thing they make claim for, as far as I know, is public domain. I'll leave a pinned comment below in case I find out otherwise after I post the video. About a week after the takedown, it was revealed that the developer behind Misery is a Z supporter. Now, you might be wondering what a Z supporter is. Z supporters are people that are in support of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. If you've ever seen photos of Russian armored convoys with big white Zs painted onto their armor, yeah, that's what it means. This was revealed through leaks from Misery's official Discord, which revealed that not only the developer, but their community as well were all Z supporters. They'd post a lot of very pro-Russian memes on the Discord. There's also examples of racism, like there's images of users just dropping the N-word, like hard R, in conversations on the server. Me personally, as someone who has a bit of African American in their blood, I don't really care about it all that much. It's whatever unless it's being used in a hateful context. But I know I don't speak for everyone's opinion on that word. In the US, it's considered a very offensive, derogatory term towards people like me. It's like calling a Polish person a Polak in the Eastern European side of the world. And honestly, I don't really know the context behind what's being said. It's all in Cyrillic, but I don't think GSC, who are from Eastern Europe, a part of the world that isn't exactly well known for having a large population of black people, would really take issue with the hard R getting thrown around on the Discord. I think it's the pro-Z stuff that they really took issue with. Like I said, GSC are very, very passionate about their country and its culture. And to me, I personally think GSC caught wind that Misery was made by someone who clearly hated the very culture that their game was built on, and took inspiration from their game. And it rubbed them the wrong way. I've seen people say it's the Stalker 2 devs trying to eliminate any competition for their game, which... no, I don't think that's what it is. I'll say it again, Anomaly would have been taken down if that was the case. Because a lot of people went back to Anomaly after they were disappointed with Stalker 2. But at the end of the day, no amount of GSC meat writing will get me to say that GSC are justified in their takedown of Misery. If my theory is correct, it is just incredibly petty of them to do that, essentially abusing their copyright protections in order to bully a developer they disagree with. I don't agree with the developer's politics. In fact, at one point I was planning on getting it and playing with a few of my friends, but now that I know what they think of Ukraine, I don't think that I really want to support them anymore. And that's how it really should be. Now that we know the devs' beliefs, it should be up to you whether or not you still want to support them. But instead, it's just another example of larger companies abusing their copyright protections and resources. And I know people that know me on Discord will say that I still play Tarkov despite it being a Russian-made game. Two things to that. I play SP Tarkov, which is a mod for Tarkov that Nikita and the devs clearly hate. And I've never given BSG a single cent. I've never given Battlestate Games a single cent. My copy was gifted to me a long time ago by someone I don't even really play with anymore. But I think that's enough for me. I've said my piece on this. I'm gonna go back to playing Gamma again. If you guys like this video, please go check out the Nova Online video I made a couple days ago. I ended up having to take it down the first time due to some errors I made, and the second time to remove a joke I made about a certain religious extremist paramilitary group getting the video shadow banned. I don't like to beg, but I really worked hard on that video, please. It's 30 minutes long. Just play it in the background while you're playing Minecraft or some shit. Oh, actually, one more thing. Go check out my friend's channel. He does videos on Warhammer 40k. Anyways, yeah, I'd say that about does it. Goodbye.
Выручайте! Кто...